Let me tell you a quick story involving a police shooting. We've talked about many, many cases where police officers were able to keep their jobs after killing someone that was unarmed, or killing someone after responding to the wrong house, or killing someone and then lying about it. I have a story from West Virginia where a police officer named Stephen Mater was fired because he didn't shoot someone. He was fired for not shooting someone. Stephen Mater was called to the home of 23-year-old black man Ronald Williams Jr. by Jr.'s girlfriend, saying he has a gun and he's thinking of killing himself. He's threatening to kill himself. Officer Stephen Mater showed up, and he indeed found himself confronting an armed man, but he used his training as a police officer to say, okay, hold on, let me assess the situation. This is a man who does have a firearm, but he doesn't seem at all like he's about to use it. He's sort of pointing it down. And one thing that Williams Jr. did that also made Officer Mater hesitate to shoot him is he said, just shoot me. And very quickly, Officer Mater identified Mr. Williams Jr. as someone who wanted to be killed by police. This is called suicide by cop. And he said, this is not someone that should be shot. We need a mental health intervention here. So he spoke to the individual. He said, hey, I'm not going to shoot you. And he successfully de-escalated the situation, reportedly using what he described as his calm voice. Unfortunately, two other police officers showed up and ended up shooting Williams dead. As the story goes, Williams did get agitated by the arrival of those two other police officers and did start waving his gun around. The gun later turned out to be unloaded. There were no rounds in this weapon at all. No way that police could have known that, and he was ultimately shot by the two cops that showed up. Stephen Mater initially thought that he would just have his 1 week off, which happens typically after officers are involved in a shooting. It is sort of a period to cool off if they need some counseling or whatever else may be needed in terms of that emotional side. They're able to get it. But when he came back to work, or thought he was coming back to work, he was told, no, actually, we are not going to be bringing you back on. There is an investigation going on. He was ultimately let go because he put the lives of his other officers in danger by not shooting this man. This is absolutely disturbing. Now, you might hear it and say, well, but David, the other two cops showed up, and then the guy did wave the gun around, and then he got shot. Yeah, we could have that conversation, but the big picture here is we have a police officer who was actually well-equipped to de-escalate a situation, who was actually well-equipped not to just fire, not to just start discharging his gun, and had successfully done so until these two other officers showed up. Now, are the other two officers to blame for escalating the situation? We know that Mr. Williams was absolutely emotionally unstable. We know all of those things. But why are we punishing the police officer who opted to de-escalate and to actually prevent, or he could have prevented, a police shooting merely because later on the suspect re-escalated? It is absolutely deplorable. And if we want to do anything to push back against this shoot first, figure it out later mentality that exists with some police officers, not all, but with some police officers, the first thing we need to be doing is not punishing an officer who opted to successfully de-escalate rather than discharging his firearm. Absolutely disgusting.